Hello, welcome to Building Redwall, a series of videos where I recreate this iconic abbey from the series of books by Brian Jacques. This is the finale! Can't believe it's taken me this long to finally put this video together, but it's been a journey these past 3 or 4 months, recreating and designing and building. It's been a lot of fun getting into Legos. For those who haven't been following along the series, I've had a love for these books, especially as a kid and preteen. But I went through a dark ages, I guess you could say, where I stopped reading the books until recently, where I decided to get back into it now that I have a son of my own who's reading fantasy novels himself. So my kids asked me to, I asked them first what I should build out of Legos, and they suggested Redwall Abbey, so this is where we're at. Again, you can watch the rest of my videos for more details as to the process and how I got here, but I just wanted to review a few things. So first off, here are some of the inspirations that I got visually in my design process. Really wanted to go for a medieval type look, Gothic in nature, but I know that it is called Redwall Abbey, and as such probably should rely more on, religious themes and religious architecture, especially Gothic cathedrals. But on the other hand, I know that there isn't Christianity in the Redwall series, and so I kind of wanted to find Gothic architecture that wasn't quite as Christian, and so I settled on this hall building at Cambridge, I believe it is. But yeah, so let's just go ahead and jump right into my actual video. So here we are with everything that I've built. Started off again with the main abbey. I built a little bit of the outer wall and a gatehouse. But yeah, it's been a long journey to get here. And I can't believe it sometimes. Redwall Abbey itself is built on 6 32 by 32 base plates. And then this wall is built on 5 32 stud long plates as well. But I wanted to make these walls modular so you can unpin them, separate them, mix things up, and maybe in the future when I have more space I can build some more walls to completely encircle the abbey, but that is a job for future Jared to figure out. But yeah, so here's a little bit more view of the top of the outer wall. Have a walkway there for the residents of Redwall to walk along. I've got 2 smaller doors built into the outer wall. Those are meant to be like the north and south gates of the abbey, whereas obviously the main gate is at the gatehouse. Here is the view of the side of Redwall. So this building right here is the main building, I guess you could say. It's got Cavern Hole, the place where the Redwallers hang out and chill, as well as the kitchens. And the second story has the dormitories with some beds and things like that. On top of this building, you can also see the bell tower. The bells at Redwall play an important role in the story. Kind of, as I said, since there are different things within Redwall, it's modular in the fact that you can remove the second floor and remove the roof to access the insides of Redwall, at least for that building. And I'll show that off in a little bit. But it's just kind of mind-boggling to me sometimes to see the scope of it all and just to see kind of how things flow and what it looks like all together. I didn't imagine how much I would love it. But yeah, there's the bell. You can see a little bit better. Here are the windows. I have a lot of stained glass windows in this MOC. Probably went a little overboard, honestly. I think by the end I was getting a little burned out by it and thought that it was too much, but it's still a pretty cool design with the arch over that. And yeah, over here we can see again the front of Redwall Abbey. We've got this other wing here with the infirmary as well as corridor and the rose window over the main doors. This tower doesn't really have a name, but it's got another staircase to access the second story. Back here we have another small little hallway or corridor to connect to the other building. The first one that I actually built, that one is the Great Hall and is probably my favorite building out of the three. So kind of like my outer wall, the three buildings of Redwall also can be separated and they're pinned together, so it makes moving Redwall a lot easier, just to kind of pull things apart. Putting the pins back together is really tricky, really difficult, but I think it's worth it in the end. But yeah, I really love the buttresses. I feel like they do a lot for this MOC. Really give it some character, and really like the lines. Here, from this angle, you can see the two sets of vine trellises, or vines, climbing up the side of Redwall that I added just to break up the colors and add some more texture. But yeah, this is the back of the Great Hall. Yeah, the Great Hall obviously is where the Redwallers eat and probably mingle as well. It's only a one-story building, but it's got these dollhouse-style doors hidden on the wall. I'll probably open them in just a minute to show how that works. But yeah, this, I don't know what it is about the Great Hall, but I really love how it turned out. It's my favorite, just based off of its looks and whatnot. Over here we've got the central tower that kind of connects the first building to the second building. It was really tricky to get right. In fact, yeah, it was a bit of a headache, but I kind of like it. I feel like it turned out a little bit more Hogwartsy than the rest of this MOC, but that's still kind of cool. My kids also love Harry Potter, so they probably don't mind. Here you can see the inner courtyard. It's not very big. Part of me kind of wishes I could make it bigger, but to have a bigger courtyard would mean a smaller Redwall, and so again, that might be something I work on in the future. Maybe adding some more space in between the buildings to put in a better courtyard. Initially, I planned on putting a lot of greenery and trees and maybe a vegetable patch, but to be honest, I kind of got burnt out. So the courtyard is kind of bare and kind of sad looking. Here you can see the backside of the infirmary. The first floor is just a corridor, and it's got those archways. Originally, I was going to put in a solid wall, but I thought it didn't really leave any room for play access and made it really dark, so I left the backside open. Here again, you can see some of the spires on top of the buttresses. That was probably my favorite part. I wish I had some more cones or pyramid toppers to put on more of the buttresses, but I kind of ran out. And yeah, here you can see this side of Redwall. Yeah, like I said, I kind of wanted to experiment with the windows a little bit more, so this last tower has some different stained glass windows in it just to mix things up and to be a little bit different. Here you can see the backside of the wall. I guess the inside. There's a stairwell to get to the top of the wall. There's also a stairwell to get into the gatehouse. I've got 3 little critters, villains, vermin, I guess you could say. I might show those off later. Here's just more overhead views of the abbey itself. Yeah, I think I'm going to show you the dollhouse doors, how they open, so that you can access the Great Hall. Inside, I've got some tables, as well as some Redwallers in there eating. That one's got an apple. This one's got, I think, a yogurt parfait. And one's eating a carrot back there. I designed these heads and 3D printed them and painted them myself, just because Lego doesn't make anthropomorphic animal heads for the Redwallers. I do have Rabbit from Winnie the Pooh hanging out at Redwall. It's the one animal that Lego makes that kind of fit in. But yeah, you can see all the tables I have in there. There's also a giant fireplace. I think there's some logs and fire in there, thanks to one of my kids. These tables were kind of tricky for me to figure out because I wanted them to not only be a good height for Redwallers, like sitting at them, but also a good height for Lego minifigures when they're standing right beside them. I think I kind of made a good compromise. It still looks like the table is really low when a minifig is sitting at the table, but yeah. There's the corridor that leads to the kitchen. Let me fix this parfait or whatever that is. Maybe not. Okay, one more try. There we go. Got it. And there is the corridor that leads to the main tower with the rose window. I call it a rose window, even though technically it does not look like a rose, but rose windows are a common feature of cathedrals, so I felt like I needed to have one for Redwall just to make it feel nice. Anyways, these doors clip in, kind of snap in so that they don't fly open all the time. It can be kind of tricky to get them to fit in real snug with the tiles and stuff. And yeah, over here is this other building. Maybe I'll try to take off the roof one-handed. That's actually not that hard. And let's check out the dormitories. Got 2 different rooms for beds. This one over here has another rabbit and a badger, as well as a special tapestry of Martin the Warrior. I designed that image and then printed out some copies, one for me, and that one was colored by one of my kids. Over here we have 2 more Redwallers hanging out in this other dormitory room. Each dormitory room has a fireplace, because obviously you don't want to freeze when you're sleeping. There's a mole in armor, I think, actually. Here you can see the second bathroom, kind of dark, hard to see, but let me see. Yeah, there we go. You can see I've just got like a chute, I guess, for the toilet and a sink. I know that Redwall didn't have running water, but that was just a compromise I made for my sake. There's a grandfather clock. Over here we've got another Redwaller, a squirrel. And yeah, the bed design is not my own. I found it online, but it's still kind of nice And yeah. In the middle of these two dormitory rooms is the stairwell that leads down into the first floor. You can kind of see it over here. The stairs, maybe. Yeah, it's really, really hard to see. Really tricky, but also have a little hallway to get to that dorm room. I had some awkward spaces on this floor, and obviously I wanted to put in some support beams just to keep the walls square and whatnot. And so, yeah, it's a little tricky, but I think it gets the job done. Again, like I said, I've got this tower over here to connect the two. It's kind of interesting trying to figure out how the seam would work right here, because obviously this building would have removable floors, so I needed them to be able to come out, but I also wanted to keep a tower that wouldn't move, so that's where a lot of the headaches came. But yeah, let's take this floor off, maybe. I can slide it off one-handed and show you the first floor. So here we are. We've got cavern hole, the stairwell, and the kitchens. This is cavern hole. I've got some sofas and a table and a fireplace. Not a whole lot there. Here's the stairwell that connects both the second story as well as the wine cellar, which I'll probably show off in just a little bit. Here are the main bathrooms. As I was building Redwall, one of my kids asked, like, well, where are the bathrooms? How are they going to use the bathroom? It was a question, obviously, I didn't ask, but my kids did, so that's why I had to put in this bathroom. That was the best place I could think of, layout-wise. Here are the kitchens. Got some cabinets, some doors, a oven, some bottles, a few food items like that pie and a tea kettle. Of course, you've got that privacy wall to keep the bathroom area separate. Here are some goblets and bottles, because that is one thing you read about a lot in the Redwall books, are all their dandelion teas and what have you. Here is, again, this stairwell actually is removable so that you can look down into the wine cellar. It's a bit of a mess, just because it's really hard to access. But you can kind of see I've got a lot of barrels down there. They didn't stack very well, and of course my kids love to play down there too. I think there's a Redwaller with an axe. A warrior, I guess, passed out after drinking too much ale. Something. But yeah, that might be something I fix in a future update to Redwall, is trying to make the wine cellar bigger or more accessible to play with. But yeah, got the first floor done. Not sure what else to show you, but this is just what it's like. Oh, I've got a side door over there to get out of Redwall. I guess now it's time to show off this building. It's connected, obviously, to the other building I just showed you. This was the last one that I built, and so I was kind of getting burned out and ready to be done. But I've got more dollhouse-style doors so that you can access the infirmary. It's got blue beds. Hopefully you don't have 5 Redwallers sick at a time, but I just wanted to squeeze in as many beds as possible. Maybe when no one's sick, they use that for regular sleeping quarters or dormitories. I don't know. Again, kind of wanted to mix up the colors. Try something new with the blue here. These doors. They don't clip in, they just kind of snug in, I guess you could say. It's hard to describe, but yeah. Here again is the rose window. I've talked about it a lot. That was kind of fun, just to figure out those shapes, because Lego doesn't make very many circles. And then, of course, those two other stained glass windows on top. And the main doors of Redwall. To be honest, this is probably my least favorite part of Redwall, just because I think creatively I ran out of steam. But you can kind of peer down in and see the main stairwell, grand staircase, I guess, right there by the front door that leads up to the second floor. And yeah, it was tricky because I wanted Redwall to be accessible for play, because I have young kids who want to play with it. But after a while, I was realizing that removable roofs and things were getting tricky, and so I had to improvise to find new ways to have a strong structure while at the same time incorporating access for my kids. Let's see if I can get down into this courtyard. I really want to show off my tapestry of Martin the Warrior. It's right there by the front entrance. It's kind of dark, but that's the one I colored. You've seen a couple of the ones that my kids have. But yeah, since canonically it's there by the front door, I kind of wanted to put mine over there. That doorway opens from this hallway so that the Redwallers can access the inner courtyard. You can see, I think that's an otter standing there. But yeah, let's move on to a new clip real quick. I've taken things apart, separated things so you can see this building a little bit better. There's the tapestry I was telling you about. This is how the plates separate. Got some Technic pins to clip together the three different buildings. And yeah, so I designed that image on the computer, then printed it off and colored it in with a colored pencil to kind of give it a textured look, kind of like fabric. But of course, since it was a coloring page, I knew I needed to print some extras for my kids so that they could do it as well. When I return to this MOC in, I don't know, months or years, definitely going to tweak a few things. That's the beauty of Legos, is you've always got time to change. And yeah, this is showing off the connection part again with the Technic bricks and kind of what this side of the building looks like. You don't see it very often because usually it's all clipped together, but yeah. Really had fun designing these buttresses with the gentle slope and trying to figure out how they would connect while at the same time having the floors be removable. So sadly, some of my buttresses fall apart in the taking apart process, but that's just how Legos go. Here are the vermin I kind of alluded to earlier. I found some Urukai minifigures and then threw on some wolf heads that I bought on Bricklink. But yeah, I have the gatehouse here. I built the staircase on the right, and then one of my kids thought there needed to be a staircase on the left, so they added one. That was just going to be a storage room that wouldn't really go anywhere, but now it has a staircase instead of anything in it. That's been the fun part of this MOC, is I make plans, and before I could execute them, sometimes my kids interfere, and instead of raining on their parade, I just roll with it. So, but yeah, let's see if I can move this back together, show you how they snap. It's really hard. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do this one-handed. It's hard enough to do it with two hands, but this is Redwall. Thanks again for sticking around, and yeah,